This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
I also want to mention the Boiler Room match here. It pays off at SummerSlam 96. And it's an interesting concept because most of the match doesn't take place in front of fans. It literally starts in the Boiler Room. And this is, an era of wrestling, I suppose, not just the WWF. We're trying different things. And they get plenty of time here. Mankind gets the win, though, in 26 minutes and 20 seconds. It's much like a movie fight scene, Meltzer would say, with the two bashing each other with objects and Mankind taking hellacious bumps and sick punishment. And he would be critical of it, saying the problem was with no crowd noise audible and the announcers not voicing over the action, the fighting sequence was way too long. Among the highlights were garbage can shots, Mankind turning steam on an Undertaker's face, low blows with an object, etc. They even had a few segments where the picture went out, which must have been on purpose since it was pre-taped, but was kind of bad. Mankind did an elbow drop off a ladder onto the floor and later took a bump while Undertaker threw down the ladder when he was near the top. He got out first and put all kinds of barricades blocking the door. Undertaker still got through the door, and the rest of the segment was live, and he called it really good. They're going to brawl backstage. You see the Undertaker break a 2x4 over Mankind's back, throws the Undertaker into the steps, gives him a pile driver onto the floor. Lots of crazy stuff here. But then eventually, after the crazy Nestea plunge backwards crashing onto the floor, we saw the Undertaker go to get the urn from Bearer, who had his back turned to him, and Mankind uses the mandible claw and goes to get the urn, but Undertaker sits up. Mankind puts the claw back on Undertaker. Bearer then slaps and kicks Undertaker and finally hits him with the urn and gives the urn to Mankind. After the match lights went out and the music played and a group of druids carried the now dead Undertaker to the back, Meltzer would say no rating because so much of it was taped, but Bearer was doing great doing the turn and both worked very hard. The only negative was the Boiler Room stuff just lasted too long and needed commentary and crowd noise, but the announcers did a great job with the turn. You watched it for the first time in a long time recently. What do you think of this execution?
It was a unique match. It's hard to judge a match in this environment, in this particular structure, like you would a normal wrestling match. So the uniqueness of it was certainly significant. I had my doubts about how successful it was going to be because so much of it, Conrad, was hidden from the live audience. It's awfully hard for your fans in attendance, who you're counting on to make a lot of noise, to really get boisterous and invested when they can't see what's going on except on the Titantron. So I was a little bit worried about that, only because of the length of time, apparently the length of time that we were going to be in the dark or in the boiler room. So I was leery about that. I was not leery about how well that Mark and Mick were going to work. We already seen that they had great chemistry. They're going to do fine. I was more worried about the presentation of it and how it segregated the audience from the action. I thought that might be an issue, but I thought it was a unique look. I have so much respect for these dudes, man, because they're doing these things, Conrad. There's not an easy bump in the whole goddamn thing. When you're landing on concrete or you're getting thrown into steel, I use this a line time to time on AEW now, and that's the fact that inanimate objects aren't great tag team partners. It hurts.
Right.
It hurts. And those guys paid the price to hurt and suffer through it to get it done. And again, same basic situation. I think it was a finish that nobody saw coming. I mean, Taker losing was 2 in a row now to take 2 big match type scenarios, right? I don't think anybody called that one, and certainly did not call Paul Bearer changing jerseys and going with Mankind and leaving Undertaker. So I had some apprehensions, but not because of the talents, simply because of how the match was structured and how long that these two cats are going to be in the boiler room.
The moment where Paul Bearer makes the turn, is that one of the all-time moments in WWF history? I got to think it is.
Well, it's certainly right up there, no doubt. You know, it's a very subjective question, but it's certainly something we won't probably forget, because Paul Bearer and Undertaker were so married. They had a long-standing relationship, which out of became a great friendship and camaraderie. So it was kind of emotional. So yeah, I'd say it was probably in the annals of WWE and turns and things of this nature. It's got to rank right up there with some of the best we ever did.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.